Hello blended folks, welcome and welcome back. This is Pxy-RUN. This is the recording performance of a future Pxy-RUN, which is speedrun, time-lapse, those sort of videos. I've already done for the model sheet, and now I'm gonna restart the modeling one, which was a failure last time, yesterday. So I'm gonna restart modeling from scratch. Many issues happened. There's a long time I didn't do that. Usually I would just reuse the model from another character, right? Because it's the same structural mesh topology except for the face maybe, but usually for the face, even the scale we can change the other shapes and all, reusability, right? But for this one here, because of the speed run of the creative process, I want to model it from scratch. It was also super confusing because the topology was complex and I needed to get a few more experience. I started doing everything wrong, right, basically. So you notice this time there will be my voice, but actually yes, I'm including my voice. Maybe someone is watching, so it will be more interesting, but I'll try to focus anyways. And in the end I will cut off the audio, right? So it's just for the video here. I figured out here that there are some vertices here which are part of so I don't know what are gonna check here. No, top head. Yeah, okay, top head. So apparently there is some these points are in the wrong position. So I'm just gonna place them perhaps here. Could be in the center as well. Yeah, I could place it here. There are some other... Oh yeah, actually this gonna move this to the top head, right? Looks like that we got some... Yeah, I've got some issues here, right? Let's move this up. So this layer, this is not organized. Let's move this to... Wait, these are sketch... Yeah, these are sketch strokes. We don't want them. Alright, so I'm gonna bring this back here about in the center, and there are some other stuff. There. Some things which were left there from the top view, apparently. Yeah. Move to top head. Well, we can get a perfect alignment. then turns out that seems like it would be relevant to have a hands from the top view. So we're gonna do this. I don't need this. I don't know what this is. The stroke here. Oh, there's a sketch here. Okay, I don't need that. So I want the. We can use this. Actually, there's a synchronized way to look at this. The end panel, view, and then quad view sync zoom pan option, and this now we have. Great, so this is super valuable. So the only thing that I want here is to try to match the hand from the top view, right? Yeah, ideally so this will become actually top body. Sketch, and gonna get yeah, I'm assuming the position of the arm would be here, but actually yeah, I don't have the right placement here, so this will be tough. We're gonna just try to find here to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So it will be like behind here. So it's like 1, 2, 3. It's actually all this is actually here. So the knuckles would be about here, so this is just because of the material, I guess. Yeah. No. Yeah, I don't know why this color is black. Makes no sense to me, but doesn't matter. So what we want here is to map out the knuckles. They are not very well mapped here, so yeah, but it will be about here, right? Then for the fingers, this should be the index. Yeah, so the index will be about here. Yeah, actually the skin might be about here. So I don't know exactly the extent here, but we can. Let's advance the knuckles a little more. The shape of the fingers here, I'm not caring too much. It's hard to draw this in here, so I'm just trying to get just some basics here, right? Nothing super. Here, I believe this could be improved as well. Could push this more, like instead of relax, let's try to straighten. Oops, this is a bad idea. There's this one. Yeah. Okay, and that seems valuable. It's just a sketch, so nothing too fancy, just a good reference. I think that concludes this thing. Now let's leave this mode and let's just start resuming our modeling. So I'm gonna model without the direct reference of, oops, it's just a mistake. I don't know why it has been drawn there, but SZ0, let's do this. Now it should be fine. Okay, I'm gonna save as a new version. I'm still gonna use a new the reference of another one, but this time I'll do this in an appropriate way. Oh yeah, that will be super annoying. Alright, so whatever. All these widgets, we can delete all this. We're also gonna get, yeah, we need the eyeballs. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. Actually, Alt P, clear transforms. Okay, let's delete this. Also gonna delete some materials here because they will be very annoying. All right. I'll just leave it here. So this is the for future work. This is garbage. Alright, so here we can get some face loops, right, to start with. Just mapping those things out. A lot of things here which are this is annoying. We need to material, right? Got the material preview. We can also be on yeah, they fixed this topology here. Caused me a lot of trouble this time. Try to avoid overlapping colors, so I'm gonna keep a pattern that maintain things organized. Like this is not allowed to be crossed this way. Yeah, and here there could be probably better face loops here. So I'm not gonna do for everything, right? It's just for certain stuff that are super relevant. So here, for instance, yeah, actually, there's a trigon here. Okay, we can accept that. This relates to the jawline. So yeah, then let's get some other one here, like blue. Confused here what's happening to. Okay, it doesn't update here. Need to be on EV, right? Strange thing, right? I don't have this. Well, whatever. Alright, this is good enough for starting. Please, I have sub you now. Welcome, Flop TV. Thanks for subscribing. Yeah, so I'm making now the modeling, right, of this model sheet, which is made in Grease Pencil. And now I'm going to, this is a performance recording for a time-lapse or speedrun video. I'm still talking here to say some of the process, right? And chat and all that. So feel free to use the chat for any conversation, but I need to focus anyways, so thanks for commenting. Yeah, so now I was just assessing here the topology. Last time I tried to do this speedrun, it went really bad. So this time I'm gonna try to make it right. I could totally reuse this model here, right? But instead I'm gonna model. The idea is to get everything from scratch. Alright, I'm gonna cut a lot of video here. So this is the super basic stuff, right? Everyone knows how this works, right? Or maybe not, right? So this idea to you can always learn something, one or another new trick. Clipping, gonna, yeah, on edit mode, scale from individual origins. Oh yeah, this is not good. So if we are doing this, then of course need to apply all transforms. So I'm gonna get here a subdivision surface modifier. Then this is just for the head, so we want to get, oh actually we don't want to be looking at this for now. We also will lock these references. Alright, so this should match the head, right? The circle of the head, so it's a bit hard to see. I think it's a bit larger. Now it's excessively large. Okay, so this doesn't need to be perfect. Let's apply this. It is right here. Also, is there anything else I can do from this? Alright, and the body would be like boxes, right? So I can keep adding cube here directly on edit mode. Except that the cube, it has got okay, it's already alright. Faces. Yeah, starting. There are many ways to start. Some prefer going directly to sculpting. I prefer going straight to mesh topology. Last time I was a bit rusty in doing this, so I was doing cubes and extruding, but this is actually not the process that I like to do. What I like to do is working directly with the topology, and so this time I'll try to do the way that I like. here. Yeah, actually here would be nice to have actually the quad view with this sync zoom pen, so now we can. Problem is that I don't have control of the areas, right? But oh yeah, actually let's also get here. Let's get this and hide. We don't need a lot of stuff here, so no need of the costume, no need of the hair. Even these guides, well, the guides we can keep. Yeah, we just need that. That's right. Can probably use some proportional editing. Some geometry here is not actually good, right? But we will be fixing this as we go here. Yeah, that's it here for the forehead. Yeah, so here I should already be addressing the mesh topology, because it's much easier to handle this kind of geometry here if we already start with a good with a more precise topology. So it's like all this is like useless here. It will just cause problems. So we could probably, yeah, I don't like extruding, but yeah, we can do this. What I really want to do though is I just want to start creating face loops, right? So let's try with this. Snapped already in the center of the plane of symmetry, so just need to be adjusting. And probably this, yeah, so now this it's start to get fun. We can, let's take off the proportional editing. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure here how much. Let's just solve this. The amount of face loops that I'll need here. My idea is to have in the end the same topology, exactly the same topology, not the same geometry, but the same topology of the reference character. Well, except for the face, of course, because they are different characters. The style is the same, but there are some is their face which is the major difference. So we're gonna try to pick the major features, right? It is hard to do this here, right? We're gonna, yeah, I see. This is tricky, right? So need to try to match 3D from modeling the same time. Well, yeah, this is not good, right? So even this approach is not actually not as good, right? Wow, what's happening here? The squad view is just killing me. It's too small, right? I just can't do stuff here. The squad view is in my screen. We can't adjust the screens. But the idea, yeah, we're getting closer to the correct idea here. Yeah, this is very weird to try to do this way, but we're gonna this should actually be more to the what this face loop does actually. I'm not even sure. So this is why this thing will be very painful actually. Either I know exactly, right, the topology that I will need in the end, or this will be like, I would totally do this experimental, like I'm thinking, yeah, so I think we are up here for another failure, folks. Yeah, this is very, very complicated. The way I'm trying to do this on records, right? Let me think for a minute here. Alright, so there's a shapes problem. So the body is nearly the same shapes. If I only knew the topology by heart that I want, I would not need this model here. So I could go intuitively into doing this. If I just reuse the mesh for like doing some this as a scoped model, then I just would be a retopo thing, which would be like useless, because this already has got the the geometry, right? Oh, by the way, it's the face, her face is different, so the topology of the face that I'm doing here is not even relevant. So if I make this recording just for reusing the mesh, it's just like totally uninteresting, right? But yeah, it will be this basically. So the only thing that I would need to retopologize would be the face. It's strange that the shapes are not so easy to get in place. Yeah, there's more things to do here, yeah. Because Nixo, the character that I'm trying to make, she's slightly short than her arms also. Because the top, actually this is a natural, but they are measured from the top of the head. So that's why a shorter character has the arms in principle in an upper height instead of a higher height. Of course, then also there's the case that the something about this mesh of the hand. Yeah, my drawing is too large, yeah, so strangely when I draw, I saw already this tendency. Apparently I have a tendency to draw the hands and feet too big in relation to what it would look like in the end as the meshes. So here we see that the positioning here also doesn't seem fitting exactly like the measurements of the model sheet, so the model sheet has also had the positioning of the center here a little backwards, but whatever. Then for the facial features, right? Yeah, what I can do, because I can delete yeah, so I could try to keep this topology and play with it. Just, yeah, that could work. And here we'll have some challenge regarding some shapes that seem to be a bit distorted. The cool thing is that we'll be able to assess certain issues about the shapes of the model sheet that I wasn't sure when drawing, because of the screen resolution. You know, on paper it's much easier to use the drawing artist's eye-hand coordination, right? So you just get an habit to look at things like from a distance, then you can really easily access different parts of the model of the we're working with. You see, this thing is very bizarre, right? You can quickly assess detail and the big picture, right? And here, because we don't see the big picture, right, you can't make this measure. And then if you have a big picture here, yeah, but that is small, it doesn't work. So the screen is garbage, right? For some stuff. So I have a larger screen, but it has a bad resolution. Not too high resolution, so it doesn't help. Yeah, so you see the side of it here, they don't seem to correspond to what don't seem to correspond to what the 3D model actually requires. So, which is an interesting point. I mean that if I were to model this fit as what's happening here? If I were to, let's move it here and delete this. We call it Nixo already, and I were to model this foot like that, it will be very weird in the 3D, but in the 2D model sheet in orthographic view at least, it looked good to me, so that's very weird. There's an expression in Portuguese, Brazilian, which is like vivendo e aprendendo. It's like living and learning. Like, you never know everything. We can't. So there are things that Kung Fu is the solution, right? Kung Fu is large experience, right? I don't like the shapes very much here, but this model has, yes, it has a subdivision, so in the end it is... Oh, did I delete the arms? Tragically. This is not good, right, folks? Alright, so this is very bad. It's not hidden, it was just deleted. I will have to recover it from... Yeah, I have a previous version. Let's do something here. First let's get rid of the quad view. And let's get append. Yeah, except that this time no, I won't be able to find the mesh, so no, we're gonna get the previous file we're working on, which is, I think here should be okay. Then mesh. I believe it will be this one. Yes. So I just need to recover apparently is yeah, so separate this. Join there. Yeah, no, not like that. Let's move this here. Yeah, and then for some reason okay, let's go back. Just a mistake here in the L thing. Shift D, P, selection, what can I, this will still be annoying, right, to fix. Oh, this This is much worse than I thought. Okay, here we go. There's some crazy duplicates here. Yeah, so I'm not gonna use this as a record. This is another field, but I'm gonna continue here doing something about this because, well, at least I can this was corrupted, right? So there are two of them. What I'm gonna try to do is try to adapt the topology of the face. Yeah, adapt the face. So I want to know if I can reuse this muzzle, all this. My last experience on doing this stylized characters, that the topology usually, even when the muzzle is sort of similar but not that much, it might be better to just do an entire face topology new. So it's very hard to actually reuse the topology of the face for some reason. Yeah, of course it's because the geometry, right? The geometries, they are very important. They can determine the topology in many ways. Spatial protuberances, they get better shaped from the geometry if we already have good why I'm doing this, right? Unfortunately, I think I've lost some work in this, but fine. Yeah, we lost some work here. Let's join this at once. Finally, let's save here and see what is the face loop. I think this blue one is the yes. So here we see the equivalent. Yes, okay, so we can delete this and need to connect this mesh there. There's some other stuff there. Yeah, so I'm gonna first take care of joining this. Yeah, it's not easy. too much comments. Bridge edge loops could help, but then I'll have to do something still to fix the extras. Alright, and then we can see, do I keep this stuff here, because they are floating. There'll be some would connect them to the topology of the fingers. That can also work. If she's wearing gloves, then those things are not required. Oh yeah, of course we need the unconnected here, so I'm gonna save. So here again we can see that the drawing doesn't match very well, right? The super thing. Then of course can expand here. Let's try to push this forward. Now this is connected. There'll be a lot of features here to try to, yeah, the geometry, shapes, forms, to try to fix here. And here is to do this properly with better use the, yeah, quiet view. This is horrible, right? On my screen it's very bad. Just not. And then here you cannot match this automatically, so this is a flaw, big flaw in the design of Blender. I already suggested that they fix this. So here at least we can, yeah, let's do it again. Join left, and I do this. Alright, so now Blender is going crazy. Yeah, it is rescaling. It's doing some rescaling, but if we use the stepped zooms, we can. So here I don't know why it doesn't want to get a static position. There's no middle. Okay, here stops. Alright, now but then the other one is zoom. Yeah, so okay, this is not working at all. So I'm gonna use here the side view. I cannot move the, yeah, then you get messed up. So it needs two things. Yeah, it's actually auto sync alignment, sync zoom. Two things this the quad view has, but then you cannot. And I don't understand why it wants to auto zoom here. It makes no sense for me, this kind of stuff. And I think in Blender other versions this was better. It wasn't like this. You have a cover. You can, now I just can't do anything here. Yeah, so here is like critical failure of my handling of the UI here. So, or how it is set, right? Anyways, still manageable, but it's very, very bad. Okay, so here about the height of the crotch, yeah, the groin. So this is very interesting for this character. Okay, there are many things. So this is where this come in handy, right? You can use the model sheet. We're gonna make a test, right? Few tests. The feet is easier to handle than the hand because I don't have the toes here, individual toes for every one. So I'm gonna try to scale this as the model sheet and see what happens. Then the next step would be to redraw. So this will be the back and forth work of the model sheet making of improving the character design adaptation, right? Learning, studying the intricacies of this crazy stuff, right? Because it's quite crazy indeed. So here I have this is probably wrong. Why? Yeah, it feels awkward because also I don't have the... I need to see this mesh actually with the subdivision surface modifier effect. Yes, so this is a mistake that I was making. I need to... This is dangerous, but this is actually what could help here. I need to address these shapes with the subdivision surface on, or at least like this, so I can... But this is too confusing, so this is cleaner. So in this way, I'm considering some some different approach here in this in the topology here, but for now, for me this is working. It's quite simplified and it sort of works very well for a basic, for what the character needs that I've seen in general. It's not a character that has a lot of jiggle physics and stuff like that, but it can, right? It's not a bad idea to try to improve this for such features. Here we... Yeah, so here it will be more like it's some... I still think the topology that I have here could be improved in here and there in some strategic places. But more than what I have, yeah, today I've made some improvements, or yesterday, in some things that confused me a lot, like the ankles. Maybe something in the face with very tiny stuff improved. The hand probably can be improved, but I don't know. There's so many ways to do hands. Hands is like super hard. And so yes, I'm not gonna edit here, but see, we're start to get the shapes, the geometry. More relevant in accordance according to the model sheet. So this is super valuable. But what we need to be careful with using this method is that in certain areas, if it's too low poly, then we can end up with very badly positioned vertices, and that is a nightmare. So we need to be careful about this, especially when there's low poly regions. And I have some of these regions that I should double check, right? So it's like once this is done, let's just or during the process, I need to check if there's nothing too weird in the positioning of some, how they ended up to be. Like here, for instance, here could be some strange disorganization of the here maybe. When you have to have here in the this mesh could be looking very weird, so for rigging this could be a bad idea, or I should just would need more geometry, because it's this geometry that will intake the, how do you call, the skinning method. So it's fundamental that the base mesh here, the original mesh, not the subdivided mesh, has adequate positioning, and not some crazy positioning that vertices start crossing one each other, or they look very weird, spiky and stuff like that. Like in this case here, this doesn't look very smooth, even though it seems to work later on, but it's not adequate actually. Usually it's not a good idea, so I need to try to keep improving this the geometry for those cases. And then, but of course then we, so I just edit mode here could be, if it weren't so confusing, then it would be good, but very hard to see stuff in many occasions. Of course, if I hide the model sheet, that could help a little. If I hide some parts of the mesh, yes, that could help. Yeah, but in principle, things seems to be more or less clear here. The mesh is not collapsing in some crazy ways. Yeah, here close to the spine, dorsal spine. Yeah, it's nothing. It's looking okay. It's dangerous, but we can play with this a little. It's not such a low poly mesh that it will be too dangerous actually, but I still need to double check just in case there's something very weird, like maybe here. No, I haven't touched this yet. So the I'm really curious about this thing of the foot right now. Let's make a backup here. Right? It's okay. I can do anything here because I can just then reset, right? So no problem here. Just don't apply, right? So it's just a backup, right? So we're gonna try to let's see, hold on folks. Alright, we are going to to see what happens if I model the foot like that. We already see that for the groin I've decided to position the mesh here, right? It could be lower than that, but that seems to work. Yeah, like just 1 millimeter, like it was like this before. Like it works, right? It's not like, but it's proportions and things can get weird, right? So if you look very careful, or some static, it depends on many factors, but there are little details that you can spot there's something weird about it for a natural looking. The human body is weird anyways, and because of perspective and foreshortening, yeah, experience of artists, then there are situations where, oh, your drawing is wrong. No, you don't know how the human body actually looks in certain angles, in certain poses, and so this happens a lot. So the human body is very crazy looking in many cases. I know it myself because I've seen. You can just look at pictures, naked people, models, right? But you can also look at, yeah, I had experience drawing real life models. It's very, very nice. And then I had this experience many times. You could totally say, oh, this drawing is weird. Yeah, but no, this is what it was there. Alright, so the decision here is made, sort of. We're gonna make this lower than that. And how much lower? It is what I'm trying to assess here. I think it looks good in this. If I made this just a little too low, like lower than what it is now, like it is 1 square, mini square, let's call it 1 centimeter. If it was like that, yeah, it's also slightly weird in relation to the navel. Also, the navel could be, no, the navel also. I see that there are some things here which are not good, right? I'm gonna reposition this. You see that from the front view I wanted the navel to be here, but isn't that a bit too low, right? The front view, yeah, the navel was not, and how it decided to work. Let's hide here. The navel occupies this spot, and okay, let's paint this mesh here. Okay, so the idea here is that the navel would go even lower than... Why it is selecting? It's like I have a... Okay, whatever. So it wants me to place here, but doesn't... If I place the navel here, that would want me perhaps to place the groin then that lower. Yeah, so you have this. Yeah, but this doesn't look satisfying. I don't know, in 3D at least. So I'm gonna keep the navel in a height, yeah, from the front view, of course, because I've changed this. Then change this again. Yeah, so this back and forth. So usually this square is not usually good. What usually works better is when we do halves, half of a half of a half. That is the good. Usually that works, but so here I don't have any direct reference to calculate the half, so I'm gonna make just this, and it could be slightly more though, because somewhere in between this and that. Sometimes you want to facilitate the calculations by just using squares, but actually that ends up sometimes is not the best quality. It's just a few centimeters or millimeters, but that's sufficient to destroy the harmony. You won't believe me if you haven't seen real examples, especially on the face happen. But it's the same story here. It's just that the face usually it's more visible, at least for me, the character designs I do. It's very, very sensitive, and it's very easy to, not easy, but it's much more evident in facial features. And then there's the sounds of relational proportions to take into account. So I could mark hundreds of stuff if I really wanted, but that would be super confusing, right? Maybe I'm exaggerating, but yeah, there's a lot of possible relations, because you can pick a relation from a hand to the face to the foot to whatever. Like, it's like literally you could have hundreds of relationships, proportional relationships. It's amazing how deep one can go in studying proportions. It's really labyrinthic. And there are some proportions, like they call the golden rule, like golden ratio, right? All this stuff. But golden ratio, in my opinion, is just one category. There are probably lots of proportions which were not even considered, not even discovered, right? Investigated, right? So for example, what my character has golden ratio? I have no idea. I haven't calculated for that, but maybe there are some there are probably some golden proportions here that I'm not aware of, but there would be many other proportion categories that I have even less idea of. So going intuitively is often easier for many circumstances, because we don't care about the maths. Is like geometry is more visual, it's more intuitive, that works. And then you know how to draw by heart these proportions. If to do this stuff over and over again. You know how to fix stuff, even though it's a different way of calculating stuff, right? The artistic, one of the artistic ways, of course. But of course, if we can figure out some maths alongside analytic maths, then great. That's can be very interesting as well, because they are certainly are. It's very mysterious, very complex. The science of shapes, right? So here, folks, it's time for the feet, right? And oh yeah, I was considering the change of the reference, right? So navel would go a little more up. Right here we can also, here is more about not the navel that I want to change, but I want to reposition the belly and the geometry, right? Not so much the body feature. Here we could have more another face loop. I don't know, this face loops look very large, not looking good. But where's the yeah, many of these faces are not looking good. Don't want to be moving the navel a little up. Yeah, this seems more or less correct. Then we move down this just a little, so that's stretching the hips, right? Stretching so it becomes taller, more elongated, right? Makes sense, because the torso of this cartoony stylized character, anime-like characters, they have this stretch, although here we don't see that so well. The shapes here are a bit chubby, and this is not so good, especially not for this character. So here should probably be doing some effort in addressing some of this there are some shapes here that I could probably make better. Yeah, the shapes are the faces are not very well distributed, nor for the topology, nor for the regular geometry, nor even for the appeal, right, of the anatomy. So yeah, I see that here we could maybe try to scale this a little more like this. It's like yeah, we need to, she needs to have a more elongated appeal of the torso in general. So now that I'm trying to stretch some of the features. Of course, if I'm not making her taller, or there's certainly a limitation to this. This geometry here, yeah, this topology, not sure if it is great. It works, but I think it could be, the problem is this point here. Yeah, I should probably try to readdress this. It pinches too much, but it sort of, yeah, it still works though. And here these shapes could be improved in many ways. Hello there, long time no see, welcome Sakigaki Achazawa, so welcome back, yeah, long time no see, same here. Welcome back, bro. So I'm making a little big shift in the content that I'm making in the channel. So the live stream, I'm trying to do this kind of speed run, and I'm trying to avoid doing some rigging, right? Instead doing some more other creative stuff. I'll be back at rigging, but with a different perspective. I want to go back doing tutorials, and for that I need to stop a little doing what I used to do, and yeah, make some change to my habits in the channel. So now right now I'm doing this speed run stuff, right? And this one should be a part of a modeling speed run, but it's not working. Because of the way I'm trying to do this stuff. In principle, for my own project, I'll just reuse the mesh for remodeling the character, right? But I wanted to show the original process, right? Is, you know, modeling, the topology, everything, but then I'm rusty with all that, so so it's a failure after failure of the record, since I tried to restart modeling from scratch from the model sheet, right? So that wasn't working. I still intend to solve that, but I'll need a little improve my practice here and my understanding of the logic of the topology that I've made on my own character, right? So here I'm just decide to reuse the one of Dorothy, right, the model, and I'm just gonna make change to the topology of the face, and see if I can just, yeah, just change the eyes region. Maybe I can keep the muzzle, but maybe even the muzzle won't be sufficient. So I'll have to delete most of this. But for the rest of the body, because it's for a male character, nothing too much to change. Okay, let's make the tests here. And how to do that? Yeah, I know what I need to do. So I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna make this backup here. And hide, then I'm gonna see what will happen if I... No, by the way, this foot is not matching the ground. Yeah, more or less. Yeah, more or less. So let's make it here. Wow, that's very weird, right? Let's try this and see what will happen. Scaling all orientations. Okay, then here we're gonna push this forward. Doesn't look too bad from this point of view. Of course, you need to look the character from other. Orthographic view is what hurts the most. Oh yeah, the ankle could be stretched here. Let's see. Yeah, it will not match what I've drawn there, but I can do something a bit like this. This is a stylized ankle in this part, so it doesn't need to be it's anatomically accurate with the in what concerns the character design, right? So yeah, so here I propose that the ankles this is two lower ankles, right? Pull them up. I think we can use something like medium point. Yes, we can. Alright. Interesting. Alright, let's do some rotation here. That makes sense. Scaling the ankle a little. Yeah, so a bit like I've done, but too big, right? What I've done in the drawing. Oh, another thing that is very interesting yeah, the hands, we're gonna address that, and then this muzzle cheekbone here, the position from the top view. This is a totally crazy. We're gonna investigate that and other features as well, but yeah, there are few questions that were left. So the feet. So let's look for the feet now. What does it look like? Let's hide the model sheet here. So we see that the character still works. Yeah, the feet seems a bit bulky, right? And it would be larger than that. Yeah, so it works, but it feels a bit bulky. But it's not bad, right? It's consistent. Yeah, I could make it a bit more less robust, like that. Maybe this will be a male's feet, right? Male's feet, but it sort of still works, right? Interesting. So the model sheet was not so wrong. Well, yeah. Now let's compare with the actual GSR. Yeah, it's a much flatter foot, narrower, skinny foot. Yeah, from the top view, let's see. We can try to compare directly. Taking off the mirror modifier, yes, so there's a big difference, right? So I think I can reshape some of this area here. So it's not the model sheet, not we have here, not we have here, something in between this and maybe this one, or even the model sheet, yeah. Something in between here that would be good, I think. So I think this ramp needs a little more. I think I like it. That's very interesting. Then we can try to measure this. Then here we also have this new, yeah, one square, little small square down. The navel, yeah, there's the navel thing. The navel got up, so stretching the navel. Yeah, navel. Actually, I've made this even lower, like 1.5 square, something like that, yeah. And the navel would be like one up, 1.5 up. So about the same idea. From the side view we don't see the navel over, but it will be about here. Yeah, the side view, the navel is a bit upper, so it's wrong, but anyways it's 1.5, same idea. Well, how it can be the same. Yeah, no, it will be here, so it's one centralized about here, not exactly here. Okay, just very subtle difference. Then about the hands, yeah, the hands, then the fingers length. Oh, there is something important here. Okay, let's hide this first. Could try, for instance, to pick this arm and try to rotate from the pivot here. The arm doesn't seem very good. Let's pivot from here then. Yeah, it seems that it's not long enough. So why is this happening? Usually the characters, the fingers, stretched fingers, should sort of reach or almost reach the upper knee. It's a bit far away. I don't like this, so probably I need to extend the arms. So I need to extend the arms, but I don't know where. Oh yeah, there's another reference, which is the height of the, I see. So the it depends on the pivot point, of course, slightly. So this is okay. The elbow is sort of reaching the rib cage in the lower ribs, right? But there are lowest ribs. Yeah, the elbow is from this pivot point is not too bad. It's not a good pivot point here. It's hard to find the one of the humerus joint is more about inside, right? This is not possible without rigging. It's very confusing here without the rigging structure. So we have just a poor approximation. Yeah, so maybe let's see. No, the shape, the elbow seems to be. Yeah, the position of the elbow seems. Maybe the forearm is a bit shorter than. So the hand is like the same issue with the feet. I need to make the hand of the character slightly bigger, but like 20, maybe 30% bigger than it is right currently. So it's not half of the model sheet, but like 25%, 30% of the model sheet. Yeah, then the fingers will stretch a little more. The hand will, yeah, the hand will be bigger in all orientations, and that should work. And then as for the the rest of the body is not too complicated here. Everything seems to be then here there's not too much mysteries. If I had in the past, it is the past. Now I have good results for these other features. So there are so you start solving issues by domains, right? By revising, and here we could also it's a different character, so the ears they will be different here. So it's just I haven't addressed this yet. So here we could change this model sheet, right, to adapt. Probably the model sheet is wrong, right? Otherwise, so here needs some fixes here. The back here is correct. Here we could try to reach a specific point of interest in space, right? That would help fixing. It's hard to find because there's many. Yeah, like in the center of a square, why not, right? And this is the front. Yeah, this is the front one. So okay, we can try to fix this. Like you have forward kinematics and you have inverse kinematics. So you have forward model sheet and you have backwards inverse model sheet. So it's like you get the 3D model and you rebuild the model sheet from a 2D model perspective, right? The problem that I was, as the problem is I have repositioned this mesh here using the wrong reference. So because this one has it's like the small, big, and Blender, right? Computers are stupid. Blender can solve this thing for me. I can. Actually, there is a way. Okay, so I was working on the big, but I want to work on the small. So, after I do a duplicate of this, so I'm gonna work on this one. I'm gonna try to reposition this according to the snap, right? So Blender is smart. So in this case, let's get, there is a workaround. We use the proportional editing. We use the snap feature, snap to vertex, and include non-edited. I'm gonna try to snap here, and that should work. Yeah, but no, it doesn't work because of the okay, let's go back here and okay, so it is here. Oh, I see what's going on. Because of that's because of the. Alright, so there's a solution for that, right? We got this point, and this one is ruined anyway. So what we need is to get this. They are using the same point in space. No, it is not. Now it is. Okay, not sure this is doing the correct job. Now it's deforming. Okay, so what we need to do here is just we need to improve this gonna change this to 1. Now they shouldn't, when I place it there, it shouldn't be deflected. Yeah, it's very spiky, but let's take off the proportional editing. Can try to address this later, but this is the right position. Yeah, so it's a good reference. Let's save here. So this is the, now we're gonna address the foot thing. So we're gonna look at the big one. So we're gonna pick everything here. Front view. Let's just scale this from the I don't know from the 3D cursor. Okay, let's pick. There's many ways to do this. This is not the best. But this can work, right? And scale from here, that's right. So I don't have the reference of the others, so let's do the following. Gonna do this as wire. I'm gonna pick this one. I'm gonna scale from that. I'm gonna push this down a little more. That seems good, something like this. Then scaling all the orientations. Now I'm gonna individual origins. I'm gonna try to adjust this mesh here. Yeah, we want curvature like that. Ignore the model sheet there for. Here I want this slight bump here, but then this will be here, and this probably we pick this whole thing and move it up. Maybe smooth. here. It was not really show gizmo. Yeah, this is complicated, so I'm gonna try to get a better alignment here of this faces. Yeah, it's the faces a bit awkward. We'll need to be reworking on this mesh in many ways. Still don't have good shapes here. This face look, maybe you can move it up. We need to smooth this. Yeah, we need, yeah, so I see. We need to sort of spread. Oh yeah, there's another thing that needs to be done. So I was picking this. This, then I was willing to use the medium point. Alright. Oh, that's an interesting highlight thing, right? Yeah, that sounds so many things here that can be interesting for yeah, a long time I didn't highlight. That's many days, maybe more than a week, but let's do some highlight here for modeling. Here folks, I'm trying to adjust the model of this character to the model sheet, which is here, and there's some very curious things that were happening, right? Maybe the drawings look good, but in the 3D model it doesn't look too good for some reason. So the fits are too bulky in the drawing, right? To see, this is what I would spontaneously do for modeling, but turns out that the drawing is much bigger. Orthographic view also make this way more complicated to draw, right? So here I have two propositions. There's a wire mesh here, which is just a duplicate, in which I just try to model the foot bigger, and you see that it's still not as big as the model sheet were. So the model sheet was exaggerated. Same thing happened to the hands there. So I always had this tendency to draw this in the orthographic technical drawing of model sheet with two big hands and feet apparently. So, but this is not good, at least not for the 3D modeling, right? And sculpting all that. So instead, so I need to reshape the. What I'm gonna do in this study, because I found this very intriguing issues in my own model sheet. So I'm gonna try to find which is the best. I already found it was about, I needed to get my model here about 25 to 30%, 33%, I don't know, larger than what it is. So it will, like, I mean, in relation to the hand. So imagine scaling the hand model sheet is like, would be like 100%, and the current small hand here model is like 0%. So I need to scale this up like 33%, about that. Same for the feet, but I'm working on the feet. So I've tested, right, and I found out that this would be the ideal solution. So this works, at least for the foot, but it's a bit too bulky feet, maybe a male feet, so it can work. Bigger than that, I think it would be weird, but this is already a bit weird. So what I did here is, so I'm gonna change it to wire, that object, and then this is the final model that I want. So here I'm just gonna I'm gonna rescale this, the feet meshes. Yeah, I already did that. So I rescaled in relation to a pivot point here. I placed this exactly like I did something like this. I've centralized in about here. Could pick vertex, but snap to vertex, but then we can also use here the 3D cursor and then just move here. You see it's a bit annoying, but we can get it done. Then okay, then now we can rescale this. So I've already made this work. So now the feet, they are sort of more they are closer to this mesh and but not, and a bit closer to the right, to the model sheet. So I'm gonna redraw the model sheet to adapt to the final ideal shape, right, which is what I'm trying to uncover, right, for the 2D to 3D adaptation. Of course, you can make some more adjustments here, so this could take much more time, right? But here I just wanted this this very generic fundamental change. So here maybe we want this bump here, stylistic bump, also some part of anatomy. Maybe make the fit slightly larger here. And here a cool trick. So you see the ankles. I had a lot of problem with figure out the height of the ankles in the orthographic. Sounded good, but same of the feet. Yeah, in relation to that. So here we pick the 2 points, whatever mesh. If you don't have points, you can pick the whole thing. Here I just have these vertices here, these spikes, and then you look from the side view, change this to medium point, transform pivot point, and then you can, with proportional editing, right, turned on, you can just, well, scale it up maybe, not so much maybe, and then move it up. You see they have some tilting like this, like many features in the leg, muscles. They have some, they are not exactly aligned, but this is stylistic, right? You do how you please. But then we can do this scaling, right? This is nice from these sharp things sticking out of the feet. I usually like, and then subtle, right? Can be subtle, but and then okay, then you can rotate, you can scale, and then this helps to match closer to what we ended up finding out. So I think the joint of the foot, the ankle would be, articulation would be about here, right? So this is sort of close to the articulation. This one is in the center is higher. So transform pivot points, can use many tools here to options, features in Blender to solve these particular things here. And now for the model sheet, of course, we could propose, I'm not gonna use this on this, I probably can just delete this one now. And what I can do here is go back to the model sheet and propose for both front and side view, because this is what I have, propose some corrections. So like anatomic, yeah, corrections, and then maybe I can make a new material for this. Just it's Shift F7 material, and some guys put the material here. It's a good idea, I think. And then here, I don't know what are those oh, these are, yeah. So I'm gonna add a new one. These are all strokes. I don't know how they occur, why this has happened like that, but here, okay, let's just pick body thing. We're gonna create a new, right? So we're gonna call it, I'm gonna pick a color that will be very visible. Stroke, yeah, that should work. Then with this material, no, this is not a tab, okay, we can join right now. I'm gonna, so this is the actual mesh that I need. Can do wire, that should help. then we go here and let's see the stroke. I need to go to the grease pencil object, which is currently not selectable. Okay, there we go. Control, yeah, select the grease pencil, control tab 8 for the draw, and here I have probably some, let's see, flat material studio. Maybe I need to be here, so I have no idea what's going on here, folks. Oh, there's this thing. Alright, so this was the culprit. Okay, so let's do some string here and also get here. Yeah, I'm getting this, so I don't know. I just got some things here I want to improve. No, not using stabilizer, but simplify, maybe just a little. This can lag a little. I don't like this. Something about the stroke is still not working. I think it's maybe the spacing. Let's see. Iteration 0. Okay, so I don't know why this is doing this. I always struggle with but that should be enough for the corrections. Here we gonna get the model sheet finally adjusted so that it's here. Can make this smaller. No, I'm yeah, so here I need this I need the auto lock, otherwise there'll be auto lock inactive layers, otherwise when I erase, I'll erase accidentally other layers, which is a terrible idea, right? So here you can get this. So here the details about this we can just simplify here, right? Because this character don't have, probably she's very foots. Yeah, so I'm not doing the toes here. And here I could do something like this, and then on top of it bring this, so you have this line here that gives some orientation like this. So this is back an example, right, of this back and forth development of model sheet for 3D adaptation. However, we still have, so let's do like front corrections, and let's make also another for side corrections. And here we, yeah, probably I would like to have this just in case, right? Just in case there'll be something very bad. In terms of model sheet becoming impossible or losing so the toes here, yeah, you can have the other toe a little bigger behind, but the essential was not even the toes, it was really this the ankle here. You can make a ball thing here. If I check, this is the outer one, so you see that is going here, so it's exactly here, right? Of course, because I'm drawing on top of the 2D on the 3D model, which was already corrected, let's say like that. So this is the outer bony spiky bone that is there, right? And here we can then just propose some other stuff, but that's still the, so this is a major correction, right? We can make this softer and more flat foot here. This so this final shape here, right? Yeah, so then if I want I can erase, but this is finally something that can be used now without fear. Oh, also there was another correction I've made that I added. Yeah, so it's still the hands. There are many things that, few things that still need some adjustment, but this, then you finally end up having with this method ideal, very solid 2D model sheet for a 3D character, right? So this is how we can solve certain issues, and then sometimes depending on the project, the character design, the cartoony one, or some even certain features which we might have thought, oh, this is an impossible character design. Well, turns out that if you allow yourself to, like I did, by just experimenting and getting into 3D art, right, CG artwork, I started to understand that, oh, maybe yeah, maybe I can't replicate exactly my character designs, but I can do something that is like a 3D style of it. So I tried to match the best of the that I could without cheating, that without camera keys and automorph, you know, those they use in this Japanese long feature fill animation bell. You have a automation that the face morphs to match the 2D character design, right? So this is great, but it's, let's say it's cheating. So, but of course it's a great idea. But then, without cheating, not that I wouldn't cheat even if I have all this, but without cheating, then we can find not the exact replica, right? No, it's not about if you can, great, but sometimes I think it's really impossible. But what we can is get something so close to a 3D good-looking 3D model that, well, they don't need to even to cheat if you achieve that level. But that sometimes is not what we are aspiring to, right? So I've made some concessions because of 3D art things, but I've also found out that my original 2D style on paper had a 3D style in Blender, right, in CG art. So that was very interesting find. So I'm not trying anymore to duplicate, to clone. No, I'm trying to really. It's a new style, but it's the same school, but it's now in 3D. Maybe in the future there will be even a better match, but for now this is what I can share, and this is one of the ways you can be making those findings. So thanks for watching, folks. Please like, subscribe if you like the content here in this channel. Alright, so let's fix also, since we are here, let's also fix this correction for the front and side views. So this, I think we can just lock this, start, so they stop interfering. Again, just want to select this. So still with this layer of corrections, I'm gonna address. So you see, I could have a top, yeah, we can have also top corrections. Why not? You could have bottom views also, but I'm not using bottom views, that will be too complicated. So here I'm gonna, now this is front correction, so here we're gonna, oh yeah, I see that this will imply that maybe I'll have to change this It is already changed, right? Yeah, let's just do this for now. Also, because this is front, let's do a mirror thing, and let's just corrections front, and here is mirror top. We're gonna make top corrections, whatever. That's and the navel, I've made it half. Yeah, I made it here, so here it'd be hard to see. Let's try to maybe, what can I do here? Still in wireframe. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pick the navel, snap the cursor there, and I'm gonna lock this. I'm gonna go here. Well, now I don't see that. Well, there's another fade inactive objects. Yeah, that should help. But I don't know why I don't see the... Oh yeah, there they are. Okay, so this is not helping, and I don't know why this is showing. Very weird stroke here, folks. Okay, I'm trying to visualize what I have here. Okay, I have this curvature there, okay. Here, yeah, so it sort of matched correctly. So you get like these things go here, then start to do this. Yeah, so it's sort of somewhere about here, right? So there's some difference, but we could say that this is more accurate. And for the navel, yeah, we see that it is here from the, so this is better. Maybe here we need to maintain this curvature here, because actually even expand, right? Because the belly would be more about here. So this I'm not sure, but the most important is this, right? So here we could mark this line here. Alt S, no, that doesn't work, must be on. Okay, so the way to go is, yeah, this is pronounced. It's like here, then I have a mirror modifier also that it's not helping. Get this, then Alt S, no, doesn't work, so no, it's not like that. So, and need to is the size of this tool radius. Yeah, it's the radius. It's not exactly the position. Let's make it a little better. No, still not. Some, yeah, exactly like here. Right. And then here, I already know it is 1.5. Yeah, it's the same. For here, we need to join left, split area. This. I want the side corrections, control numpad 4 or 6, here we just continue trying to match here. Now I go back to the brush, so here we can try to follow the mesh there, but it's not, the mesh is probably not a good reference there. Except for where we touch here the bottomest, but here I think the curvature of the mesh is bad, so I'm gonna still gotta work on that, but here is what matters. Yeah, I think that we need to protrude more this mesh here, but the important thing is essentially it's here. Yeah. Good. Then another thing, yeah, the hands I couldn't fix yet. I have an idea already what should do and what should be. And for the top here, yeah, so we need to hide some mesh. Oh, there's the ear thing. Yeah, the ear. So let's go back to the ear thing. There's a little mistake, very basic mistake. Let's sometimes ensure how that occurs. So I'm gonna mark this spot there. Beyond the grease pencil, we're gonna front. You need always to be sure in the correct layer. So we're gonna mark here, side. So here we need to fix this positioning, right? And then from the top view we can also know by the positioning of the 3D cursor. The problem is that this top layer, it is in a random height, but that's okay. We can see what's going on. I'd like to solve the hands, but that is time consuming. Yeah, so also I had the problem with the positioning of the arms in relation to what would be the center of the torso on this so you could say that from the middle finger so if I could mark this like the center of the arm somewhere like here, that seems right. So this is something that I need to readdress in the model sheet. So probably here I could try to stop body sketch. Okay, I don't know what happened that the sketch just disappeared. I think it was the material madness. It's like they are a lot of strokes, and I already know that so what I want to do here is to actually, well, it does look, let's simplify this. Merge. Yeah, it is aligned, so this is okay. There's not a big issue here. There is the problem of the length of the arm, but it is looking good. I think the length of the arm, so it's more about the hand now. So yeah, it's about the hand, so I need to figure out how I'm gonna, so the idea is scaling from, yeah, let's get like face look here and mesh to the center. That should be good. GY, let's just try to get this a little better here. I want to have the gizmo. Alright, now according to the theory, the idea is to rescale this like 25%, let's say. No. 1.25, something like that. Looks like a big gigantic hand is not working, so let's try. It doesn't need to be exactly as it is. 1.1 looks, that might be sufficient. Then I get the proportional editing. Try to centralize a little more this. Yeah, I'm not gonna rotate, so just moving this. Here we're gonna try to align this a little better. Right, this seems good. This already, you see that the fingers are getting closer to the, you can try to, yeah, the knuckles, right? If I can split these faces here, the thumb could benefit from getting a bit bigger. Yeah, so here we can make many interesting manipulations. Now this is hard. We need to try to push the mesh without deforming the rest of the hand too much, right? We can try to scale up this, the volume here of the thumb. Now it looks exaggerated. I'm gonna have to readdress here. So it's very easy to mess up this stuff. the shapes. I'm not too much concerned about the geometry here. I want the volume. Yeah. So something like this. Here we can, yeah, the fingers, they don't seem to be properly oriented, aligned here. Let's move, yeah, let's stretch the here. Okay, I think we can push this wheel up here as well. Get the handle both here in the top, also here in the bottom we can get flashier here. Another curvature here. Here is very bad. We have soon to address these loops. Something about the thumb is not working. Probably I'll have to retake a lot of stuff in the shapes, but the volume, yeah, the idea is to have the correct volume, and from that reference we can input this into a better model sheet, and from that, yeah, I can have duplicate as a reference, duplicated mesh of the hand as a reference, or a reference of the original volumes, and then just try to change, to adjust, adapt the geometry, but having the proper reference for the volume. So as we change the geometry, we have at least a reference for the volume. So the volumes here seems, let's see from a distance here. So I'm gonna make a correction for the hands as well. Let's hide the stuff. I think it looks good, yeah. Let's see again. Now from here looks like a bit too big. Yeah, so it's like there's some fingers, some parts of the hand that are not, yeah, this critical, but we have proportional. No, we don't have. Yeah, I can have a curvature here, more here than there. So this is about the geometry, but this affects the idea of the volume too much. So let's see if there's anything better here we can do. This is stylized, so it doesn't need to be totally, it just needs to be good enough for the this. Maybe we can, yeah, let's try to smooth this stuff. Yeah, so this area is flashy, it has a fake volume, so that's why this can be confusing. We don't want it. Yes, I think now we are almost got it. Let's align this a little better. It's like you can have the perfect alignment, perfect geometry, like but that will be mechanistic, right? So the hand doesn't need to have it. The hand can have eccentricities. I think that's actually good for expression. You have a hand that is just blocky. It can be cool, but it might not match what you want of what we want for the expression, right? So in the end, for the animation, for the scene, so I think it's okay to have a lot of eccentricities, provided it is good looking. And there are many ways 3Ds, low poly hands can be good looking. It's actually very interesting how they can look good in many fashions, many approaches, even when they are sort of bizarre. I've been testing for my characters, like for example, I have achieved certain hands where the fingers are like alien fingers, like and kind of sort of combine well with the character design, because actually these characters are aliens. But yes, I think like this is, yeah, we can make a lot better here. These loops are not good. There's a lot more work here, but starting to get in good shapes. And so the volume, now I think it's more, still looks slightly much too big for my opinion in the 3D realm. So let's move this up to really maybe have them. Yeah, so I'm gonna make a small thing here. This, gonna scale this, like scale 0.95, no, it's not that. Scale negative 0.0, no. Scale negative, it's not that, is scale is, okay, scale 0.99, but then you just don't see very well. Yeah, we should have to look at here, right? So scale with holding shifts at 0.99. Yeah, so it's, let's look at the reference here just to have a, okay, so I'd like to have a, yeah, I couldn't have a duplicate, right? Then you get, yeah, what's happening? Okay, so it doesn't work, so let's do this again. So gonna, yeah, I couldn't have like separate by selection. Let's, okay, so it didn't work. Wrong stuff here. Okay, then let's try this again. So gonna scale this and just to see 0.95. Yeah, that seems a good one. So scale 0.95. Let's delete this one. I think this now looks like a good combination. And now we need to make the correction for this hand. on the model sheet. So we're gonna get the top correction here, and you can draw the whole arm already. Top correction, yes. So I don't care where. I don't care where it is. I think the larger. Yeah, here we go. I don't care the height of the stroke right now. We're just gonna take advantage of this and try to get these positions right. The wrist, let's say, coming out here. Then, yeah, finally, so the hand, the palm, gonna get it here. We can also hide the top body sketch, if that helps. Can maybe fade inactive objects, but doesn't help because the mesh doesn't show behind. It's weird. So I have no idea why this is. Yeah, so anyways, oh, of course we can do the wire. Okay, now yes, okay. Let's hide some. No, let's delete some stuff here. So see this. This will be like the blocky, but we need to get the shape. So here's the articulation, right? Much easier if we can draw them. So this is the metacarpal. I'm making some triangles here to try to match. No, it's not clear enough. So something weird here don't like. So it's like the fingers is too displaced. Yeah, it's like so I think something about this. So the rest is like super. If you wanted the perfectly accurate, but yeah. So I think the hand would need to be more like here, or maybe it's just an illusion. Yeah. So it depends. It depends. So it's our stylistic choices here, but there is yes. I'm looking at my own hand. Yeah, there is a big displacement of this structure here with the thumb to the side, so it might be better to look from below, right? But here I don't have the choice, so I'm just gonna mark some so here's the tip of the hand and the fingers, then this curvature for the and here the knuckles finally. And here we could, yeah, we could mark maybe the positioning of those knuckles. And then where maybe you can make something like this. Then here where the flesh would start and between the frog skin, right, between the first proximal phallus of each finger. Yeah, so you can have something like here. Not clear here, but I think I can. Yeah, I'm just gonna draw the contour here because since I got this fine looking reference. Yeah, I think this is good. Oh yeah, also here, let's get try to get these metals here. We got some confusion about the knuckles actually. Yeah, this is the first, then we could have the second, and we have a third, which is actually from the, it's not a knuckle, is the base of the thumb's metacarpal, somewhere like here. So this part, the geometry is a bit incorrect, but that's fine. We can at least give some indications here. And here I think this thing should be more here. Yeah, it should be closer to the tip, and so this could be a longer. Yeah. So, and the problems is that this is of course this is not a realistic hand, it's different, so this distance should be smaller than this, and then the other one then is different. Yeah, the metacarpal is longer than anything, so what we can do is just try to, yeah, this is the metacarpal, this is the first phalanx, which is not very good here, and this is the distal, proximal distal phalanxes and metacarpal here, and this is metacarpal bones, or other structures are not metatarsals, these are metatarsal for the feet. And yeah, so this is not finished because we also have, yeah, side view I don't care, but it could be useful, but there's too much foreshortening, it's not good. So I'll ignore for now. I'm gonna make these corrections here, and since I'm getting this side view here clean up, then for some reason, oh yeah, this is not the correct. Alright, so I'm not being able, okay, so let's do this fade inactive layers, that will help. So here we're gonna get these references here. This is a good point actually to have a top view. Why would that be good? Well, it is, yeah, because of the grid, so I can try to see where is the, yeah, because of this basically. This is mount, it's fading, which is, oh, this is not for the, barely see my mesh now, but yeah, it is there. Okay, nothing too problematic here, so just need this contour here. Here we want from the index finger, so apparently it's exactly here, the knuckle. Then about how we position this for rigging, then this depends. Here I think it would be half here. Is straight or slightly bent, so I'm just making here the, yeah, it's more of a reference about the volumes, right? So here skin will be there. Yeah, okay, I got this. Okay, I can have this matches about here. Okay, so that will be the position of this nipple. Here we sort of match about here. Yeah, I see where the mesh is. Here we try to reach about here. And then a final loop, which will be about here, exactly in this place here. Yeah, so will be the gonna make many lines here, doesn't matter. Just see the skin there. So here we could have like this, and where was this? Yeah, about here. So and about here, yeah. Yes, and so here is this, and then we got this other, which is nearly reaching this point, it's a bit deep. Get there, yeah. And I'm not sure this will be clear enough, but we can just make a note here, right? So index, middle, yeah, that seems clear to me. That's readable. The shapes there of the finger are bad, but that's not a big deal. It's the volume thing that matters here. And right, so I have except that I have drawn all that. Alright, so and there's a problem. Okay, so just gonna pick all that, okay, I've drawn this in the wrong layer, but that's fine because I'm using auto lock. So just pick this, move to front corrections. Yes, need to unlock here. Alright, so front corrections, right? Let's see if this top correction, okay, this is correctly done. And side corrections, what is this in the... Oh yeah, this is for the whatever, it's in the middle. That's fine. Yeah, that's correct. Not 3D, very readable in 3D, but that means it's just the side than the others. Could do a 3D model of shit. Wouldn't that be cool? There's already a 3D model of shit, but so you get those points really as 3D reference. That was the model can be, right? So I'm using the model as some sort of 3D model of shit. Alright folks, so here we got this stuff. The only thing that was left I'm gonna upgrade it. Let's rename this just in case we don't know what it is. It's an upgraded model sheet of Nixo, and the only thing that remain mystery to solve, well, there is other features. The mouth, the lips position is very complicated, the chin position is very complicated, the nose tip and many other features, but here in this case was the cheekbone here. So exactly the position of this was very weird in the model sheet. I think I've just made a wrong calculation that was very stupid. So it's so complicated that sometimes this kind of stuff happens. We'll make a gross miscalculation of counting the square or something like that. There's too many strokes. Anyways, so here this is the thing that I need to assess, but I won't finish this today. I'm going to do this yeah, probably tomorrow or offline. And then still this speedrun was not successful, folks. So this video, this recording though, is still good for watching, because there are voice commenting and some even make highlights out of it, but it's not gonna be a speed run, not gonna include it. I'm gonna instead bring up I'm gonna study what to do with the next one, so maybe I'll have to figure out other stuff to live stream in the next days or the week instead of speedruns performance, because I'm stuck now. I need to investigate some stuff. So thanks for watching, folks. That was it for today. Hope that was interesting. See you next time. Tomorrow we'll be back, but it will be yeah, I'm gonna think what I'm gonna do anyways. See ya, folks. Enjoy and happy blendering.